Hello church, welcome back to the Midweek Check-In. I just wanted to let you know about some new things coming to our Wesley UMC Bloomington YouTube channel. Starting next week, we'll be putting together a playlist of just the sermons from our past worship services that you can access and watch at any time. To find it, just go to our Wesley YouTube page. I'll have the URL down below. And go to our playlist page and look for the playlist labeled Sunday Sermons. Now you won't see the playlist yet as we're still putting it together, but starting midweek next week, you'll be able to watch through several of our recent sermons, including some from our Conversations About series. Here are a few clips now just to show you what we'll have.
Have you ever felt rejected on account of something that you can't change? Many of you know that I grew up in what at that time was the very small town of Dunlap, just north of Peoria. My parents were both teachers in the high school there. They began teaching there in the fall of 1960, right after they were married, and for the next 35 plus years, every student that went through that high school had one or both of my parents as teachers, including me and my brothers. I went through school for 13 years at Dunlap with basically the same group of people. We added a few when we got to high school. But over those 13 years, with all those same people, I made very, very few close friends. The majority of the kids, as kids can be, pushed me to the outside, making fun of me, even bullying me on account of who my parents were. So I found it easier just to withdraw into my books and into my studies, which then actually kind of made it worse because I got really good grades. And of course, I got really good grades because I was being fed all the answers, right?
Well, I found some interesting things in my research this week. So first of all, the 10 commandments and then the 2 commandments that Jesus mentioned, love God and love your neighbor, were probably assumed. You can hardly call yourself a Christ follower and not follow the teachings of Christ, right? So the kinds of things that Jesus said were important, like trusting God and loving your neighbor, feeding the hungry, giving to the poor, forgiving your enemy, those things I think would have gone without saying. And the Gentiles wanting to become Jesus followers were probably already doing those things. The sticky points came with regards to religious rituals. So things that Jesus didn't really emphasize, the traditions of the elders that had become fundamental parts of Jewish worship. If the Gentiles were going to be welcomed into the family, what would be the visible signs of their conversion to let people know that they now belonged to God and not to anyone else? So some of the Jewish leaders in Jerusalem wanted to focus on personal commitments of Judaism, like circumcision. But James suggested focusing on some of the more public signs of conversion, signs that both Jews and Gentiles would see and understand. James's suggestion was that Gentile Christians stop going to the temples of Greek gods like Apollo or Artemis or Aphrodite, and that they stop participating in the feasts that were often held in honor of these gods. May sound easy to us, but it was not as easy as it sounds, because often family gatherings and other social events were held at the Greek temples. Sacrifices and prayers to the gods were just part of the culture. Anytime a Jewish Christian was invited to dinner, there was always a risk of unintentionally eating meat that had been dedicated to idol worship or that hadn't been properly prepared or drained of blood.
I see elementary students being bullied about their appearance. We have kids at all ages that skip breakfast and lunch to try to lose weight, and those that do anything they can to get out of PE. There's just so much social anxiety about body image. A couple of startling statistics I recently read. more than 1/3 of 5-year-old girls, 1/3 of kindergartner girls, restrict their eating in order to stay thin. Little
Oh, my
kindergartners
goodness.
worried about their weight. Each month, 1 million children engage in risky behaviors in an attempt to control their weight.
That, to me, is just heartbreaking. Where do these kids get the idea that their bodies are shameful or embarrassing?
That's a great question, because 2-year-olds are not embarrassed or ashamed about their bodies, but it does happen quickly. Media is definitely a factor. All of the images on TV, movies, video games, print ads, those thin, white, beautiful people. We live in a diet culture, a society obsessed with thinness and dieting. Also, bullying from other students. What better way to feel better about your own body than to point out other people's flaws? But even more so are the comments made at home from their parents and other family members. Think about how much family members comment on kids' bodies. You're so big, or whatever, you're growing like a weed. So many of our compliments are appearance-based, spreading the message that how you look is what matters.
There will be a handful of sermons ready to view next week, but we'll also continue to keep adding to the playlist as time goes on. So, thank you for watching, and be sure to check our YouTube channel the next week for updates. Hope you have a lovely day.